Stay with me. Well, I don't know. Anyway, welcome, leaders, Leaders Nation. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And we have another amazing guest, and his name is Anastasi. And he's a Southern California native who graduated with a master's degree from Princeton, where he studied philosophy and psychology. He's the founder and coach of Superior Singing Method, an online singing lesson program that grosses 7 figures annually. With nearly 10 million views and over 100,000 subscribers, Aaron has the #1 singing/life lesson channel on YouTube. He is also a prominent life coach for clients in industry-leading roles. His book, The Voice of Your Dreams, is set to release April 12th, 2016. So, Aaron, I've not only embarrassed myself, but I have given the leaders out there a quick snapshot. But in its purest form, how would you describe yourself and what you do?
How would I describe myself and what I do? Yeah, I do a few different things, and as you said, I love to coach. I love to write, and another thing I'm really passionate about is I love to make films, and I love acting. And then with the Superior Singing Method program, what that is it's kind of my first step, so to speak. Like if I'm inviting somebody into my life, just inviting them into the foyer, that would be like the Superior Singing Method. I want to change people's lives, transform lives, and so if I can just get them in and transform their voice first, that's kind of entering in.
I love it. I love it. So be frank with me, brother, because we already heard my voice. Can anybody sing?
Yeah, you know what? The reason I believe that anybody can sing, because so many of my students are like, oh, I don't have enough talent. I wasn't born with talent, so I can't learn to sing. And I'm like, look, if you had any idea how my voice sounded when I first started, it's way worse than yours. I haven't even heard yours, and I know it's way worse than yours. Well, I've heard yours, but to my students. And so, yes, building your voice is just that. You're building a voice, just like you build anything else, and you're building and strengthening the muscles in your vocal tract. So anybody could become a great singer if you have the desire, if you have the tenacity, if you have the right training and discipline.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing this time and time again. You were, I should say, a philosophy major and a psychology major, but yet you've got a singing business. So what inspired you to start your business?
Well, the first thing was, I guess if I'm honest, the very first thing was passive income. I was like, I want to have passive income so I could do the things that I love to do. And as I began to think about what is it that I do well, that I figured out how to do professionally, but didn't do well when I first started, it was singing. And so when me and my business partners got together, it was like, oh, I would like to teach the world how to sing better. I'd like to help people reach their dreams. And as I got into it, it became more about transforming lives and touching lives. And I found this real passion inside of me to help people reach their dreams. And a lot of people have this dream of singing. So it was so invigorating to me to help people live fuller and freer lives. And if I could do this through transforming their voice and helping them reach their dreams, it became very fulfilling, which is what gave me the tenacity to keep moving forward with the business, even when things failed or got bad, or I had to keep pushing through. It was that drive to help people. It wasn't so much about passive income anymore, because money is just not as much of a drive. It's partially a drive, but that core of my value system and what it's built on is what really gave me the tenacity in hard times and in failures.
So I love that you said that. I started to really think about something that I wasn't that great at before, but through repetition, through practice, through being tenacious, I began to grow this proficiency at it, and I wanted to use that to teach other people. The reason I picked that out, Aaron, is there's tons of individuals out there who they want to start a business, but they're not sure what to do. And that is a really great place to start. What was something that you were terrible at before, or you just really weren't that good at, that through repetition, through practice, through being tenacious, you overcame that that limiting belief that you had, and you stepped up and you said, hey, I actually can do this. And you had a growth mindset about it. And how can you now possibly even commoditize that and create something to help individuals do the same?
Yeah, and what's so powerful about what you're saying is that if something we feel like came natural to us, and again, I don't believe anybody's born with a great voice. I want to dispel that myth right away because that keeps people from trying. But if there's something that comes natural to us, it's harder to teach somebody because we're like, I don't know, you just do it, you know. But something that's been really difficult for us, and we've built, oh, we know the steps and how to get there, which
There you go.
actually even reminds me of when I first started Superior Singing Method. It was called the Singing Guide, and I worked on the singing guide for like 2 years, and I was really excited about it, and my business partners and I launched it, and it was a complete failure. We literally didn't have one person sign up for it, so it completely flopped, completely failed, because we didn't quite understand this idea of, we didn't know how to do this online business thing. We were trying, we were learning along the way, but failed. So what we did with that is I had rethought okay, what is my system and my plan? I did more research, and we redid all the videos. I rebranded it, renamed it. It took about a year to really build this thing back up again. And then when we launched it the second time and learned more about the business, then it blew up. It was really successful then, but it was only after about 3 years. That's one big failure, but there were millions of smaller failures along the way.
So I'm so happy that you just so graciously shared with us your failures, right? Because everyone doesn't want to talk about the failures, right? They generally say that, oh, well, I've got this 7-figure business and everything is great and it all started great. But here you are saying that, no, I actually launched the singing guide and it completely tanked. It flopped. Yeah. And then I went back in and I rebranded. I learned a bit about online businesses. And now with the rebrand, with the singing method, I now have this 7-figure business. So if you were to take one thing, and I know this is going to be tough, but if you were to take one thing, what would that one thing from that failure be that drove you to success that an individual could implement into their business?
Yeah, it was really during that time that it's when we talked about this values conversation. It was in that time that I had to think about what is my value system, because it would have been really, really easy and very tempting. And I was very tempted at the time to be like, 2 years of our lives and a lot of hours, we're just not cut out for this. We gave it our best shot. We had a good run, but we're just not cut out for this. So it had to come back to my values. Like, do I want people to reach their dreams all over the world? Is that something that I really want? And is this a good path to do it? And so when I answered that question for myself, that's what gave me that drive. So part of it was that. The other part was, okay, if I'm not successful at something, and this is true for any area of life, if I'm not successful at something, it generally means, part of it could just be a marketing thing. Not enough people know about it, but it's oftentimes I haven't served people powerfully enough, because wealth comes, and again, it's not just about money, but money is an indicator of service. If I'm powerfully serving people in the world, it's going to show up as money in my bank account. It's just feedback of how well I'm serving humanity. And so there was a better way that I could serve humanity, and I did. It was much better videos. It was a much better system. It was better branding and better marketing, all that stuff, but it was a much better product, and that's what really connected with people.
Awesome. And I'm so happy that you mentioned that. It actually reminds me of an amazing quote. I can even quote this guy, a really great friend of mine. His name is Alex Sharfin, and he says that capital flows to contribution. And the greater the contribution, the greater the capital that is flowing to it. So I think that you are absolutely spot on whenever you say, are you truly serving someone in a great way, in a powerful way that is really adding value to their life?
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote a book, as you know, it's called The Voice of Your Dreams. And actually, I didn't leave this prop here, but just happens to be on my desk right now.
There we go.
Boom. but one of the chapters in the book is called "How Can I Contribute?" And how can I contribute is it's a chapter. So a lot of my clients, because I'm a coach, and a lot of my clients ask me, "Hey, I really want to. How could I get in touch with this person? Or I want this person to mentor me. I want to be in contact with. It would be great for my business if I did that." And one of the things I tell them is, how can you serve that person? How could you find out how you can really benefit that person and serve that person? Just serve them without. We tend to live in the question. Most people tend to live in the question, what can I get out of this? That's just, most people live there. And
Yep.
and if I'm not careful, I still live there myself and did for a lot of my life. So what I want to I want to redesign the thought in my brain to just be, how can I contribute?
Yeah.
If I'm thinking of how I can be a contribution to somebody else, again, it will flow back my way, and not in some like weird woo kind of way. It just does. When we serve other people, not only the money comes, but it comes back our way. It just always does when we're.
Yeah, no. I mean, what individuals need to understand is, when it's all said and done, the money is the byproduct of the growth, right? If you want more, you have to become more. And once you begin to become more, you then get those things that you want, because it's just a byproduct of the growth. And I'm so happy that you started to touch on the book, because that's exactly where I wanted to go next. So
Nice.
so when it comes to the book, obviously you're of course still incorporating a voice, right? Because that's something that right now you have a nice business built around, right? With the singing method. So explain to me what really inspired you to start this book.
Yeah. So let me tell you a story. Because this is how, okay, I was sitting with my coach. I've got a coach. I still have a coach today, but this is several years ago. I was sitting with my coach in a coffee shop, and I was at a place in life where, I mean, if I'm honest, I was depressed. I was kind of living in those, I don't know, soggy, gross feelings of self-doubt and shame, and really feeling like a failure. And I kept seeming to get the same results over and over, the same unwanted results over and over again. And so as I was sitting there with him that day, I was telling him my complaints and how it was impossible to be a successful entrepreneur, to be successful as an actor and a filmmaker, these kinds of things. And he said to me, who would you have to be in order to get the results that you want? And at first, I thought he misspoke. I thought he meant. I said, "You mean what would I have to do to get the results I want?" He said, "No. Who would you have to be to get the results you want?" And that question, as simple as the question is, it detonated something inside of me. Like it sparked this journey and the search for me over the course. And then it took several years of really trying to answer this question: how do I get the results that I want? And more specifically, how do I change my way of being and show up differently in order to get different results? So the level and quality and tenacity of my action shows up differently because my being is different. And so I discovered I answered that question for myself in a lot of ways. And then the book is actually trying to answer that question and give what I call new dreamer principles for my readers to help them answer the question: how do they get the results they want in their own lives?
Sure. Okay. So let's now dive into this even deeper, right? Because the title of the book is The Voice of Your Dreams. And if an individual is now kind of looking at your background, or they're seeing that, of course, you've got the singing method, they have an opportunity to take a look at the YouTube channel that has over 10 million views, they're immediately going to start thinking, and possibly even put this word in, the singing voice of your dreams.
Right.
But whenever you say the voice of your dreams, what do you mean? And what do you want people to get out of that?
Yeah, and it is a little bit of a play on words. I mean, my audience is a singing audience, and so does the voice of your dreams. And I know a lot of my singing students, because when I originally wrote it, I was writing it for my singing students. But as I wrote it, I realized, no, this book is for singers, it's for dancers, it's for artists, it is definitely for entrepreneurs, it's for anybody that has a dream and needs some practical steps to get there. So the voice of your dreams idea came to me because the subtitle of the book is actually, it's a turn down the voices of limitation and turn up the volume of success. See a little volume knob there. But that the idea for the voice of your dreams is we all have a voice of our dreams that is calling to us. There's a voice of our dreams that's calling and pushing us toward our calling, or wherever you want to call it, our main drive and what we're called to. So the voice of your dreams is calling to you, but it can be hard to hear when the voices of limitation, our negative self-talk, is screaming so much louder. It can be hard to follow and hear that voice. And so this is all about silencing those voices to where you can hear the voice of your dreams and really go after your dream, whether it's a singer or a dancer or an architect or a dentist and entrepreneur.
That makes so much sense. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I never listen to those voices that are in my mind telling me that I can't do something, or you're not going to be successful, or this isn't working because you shouldn't be. Like we've got so many never lies that are constantly happening and going on in our minds that tell us that we will never. And just as you said, it's about turning down the volume on those limitations and giving yourself an opportunity to begin to rewrite the story that you are constantly telling yourself, that you're constantly narrating to yourself in your head, and giving them the tools and the tips and the principles are absolutely key. And those are the things that are in the amazing book, The Voice of Your Dreams. So I want us to quickly jump into our audience round, right? And this is just it's a hot seat, really, Aaron. And I want you to join me on the hot seat. We've got a few questions directly from the audience, and it's supposed to be very, very quick, rapid fire question answer. Sound good?
Sure.
All right. So the first question I have is, what is the top tip to become a better singer?
Top tip to become a better singer is simply do daily vocal warm-up exercises for at least 5 minutes. This is what it seems so obvious, but very few people do that. If you do that for 2 weeks, 5 minutes of vocal warm-ups for 2 weeks, your voice will, I would say, it'll get 50% better, like immediately, like that. It's just because your voice is it's like a car. If you're trying to start an old truck in a cold climate, it's but once you warm it up, it's kind of buzzing. The voice is the same way. It needs that.
I cannot wait to serenade my girl. Watch out. All right. Next question. This is a good one. The top tip to grow a YouTube audience.
Yes. Top tip to grow a YouTube audience. I found that that honesty. Okay, here's what I found. The main thing is give away your best content, like give away the best that you can give. And so when I do my YouTube videos, I think what is the very most helpful for me? I'm not holding anything back. Of course, I've got a paid course, but I'm giving away tons of really great free content. And also, when I'm looking into the camera, this may sound weird, but when I'm looking into the camera, I'm thinking specifically of, I love this person. I want to help this person. What can I do to serve this person? And my way of being shows up differently. And I think that really communicates to my audience that they can trust me because I genuinely want what's best for them.
Perfect. And last but not least, interesting. The biggest mistake you made creating your online product, and how did you fix it?
Yeah, the biggest mistake I made was the singing guide was a big one, that flop. But other than that, was we had originally based all of our traffic on search engine optimization, on writing articles and spinning them and doing all that kind of stuff. And we based it completely on that, built it on that. So in 2011, Google released what's called Panda. It was an algorithm that destroyed us. We had 21 keywords like how to sing, how to improve your singing voice, singing tips at the top spots of Google, like 1, 2, and 3, mostly #1 spot. It knocked us all the way down to page 15, and not spot 15, but page 15. Wow. Completely destroyed the business in an instant. In an instant. So what we did then is now we have much more avenues of marketing. And that's when we started the YouTube channel. And fortunately that blew up, and a lot of other marketing efforts, but basing it all on one strategy. If that strategy gets pulled off and you lose your business, I mean, our income stopped completely in that moment.
Multiple streams of marketing, multiple streams of income. Like these aren't things that individuals are saying just because it sounds good. These are the things that you need to do to set up so that you can make sure that you have set yourself up for success. So if one thing goes down, you've diversified and everything doesn't go down. So, okay. Now you and I are going to quickly take a step in the time machine together, Aaron.
Great.
And as we are now going back in time, what is one piece of advice you would give to a younger you?
Yeah, that's simple for me, and it goes back to the limiting voice. Is that if I would tell myself, Aaron, believe in your bigness. There's more in you than you realize, and not like as an arrogant pride thing, but I have these limiting voices that constantly want to make me less. If I could believe in my bigness, believe in my ability, believe that there's so much more in me than I realize, then I would function as if that were true, and great things would happen, and great things have happened.
Believe in your bigness. So, okay, we're going to stay in the time machine. But now that we're here in the time machine, as you see, you still have your same knowledge, right? So you haven't lost that, but you've completely lost your business and you only have $100 in your pocket. What would be the first thing you would do to start a business?
The first thing that I would do to start a business, to me, I would get coaching clients is what I would do. I would start getting in conversations and powerfully serving people to the point that they wanted to pay me. Because to me, money isn't a security thing for me. I like having, savings and investing. I do all that stuff. And I think that's really smart to do. But to me, financial security is believing that I am the golden egg laying goose. It's not about having the golden eggs. I believe that if I powerfully serve people enough, that I will have all the money I ever need. So to me, I would just start serving people in that way. I would probably start some online businesses as well, but really I would just get in service one person at a time.
There we go. There we go. So, Aaron, before we jump into our last question, I would like to give you an opportunity to share with the audience what you're passionate about right now and how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, I guess what I'm really excited about is this book, because it's been, over the course of the year, and the big launch is April 12th, and I don't know if this episode will come out before or after that, but if you go to The Voice of Your Dreams, that's the name of the book, thevoiceofyourdreams.com, you can get the book there, but it'll be on Amazon. But if you go through my site and sign up for your put your email address in there, I'll give you like a coupon code or a coupon link for like a big discount for the book, and then you can go to Amazon and pick it up. And then a lot of other free stuff if you sign up. I'm doing a video series around the book. I got an audio book and just a lot of resources. I'm really excited about all that.
Perfect. Perfect. And how can they get in contact with you, Aaron?
Yeah, through the site, through thevoiceofyourdreams.com, there's a contact thing. And then I go through all those emails. So please feel free if you have any questions or thoughts, or even for your client, for your listeners, if they wanted to, I would even get on the phone with them for a chunk of time and see if I can even work out some of their problems as like a one-time thing just for your listeners.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see that, leaders, audience, it pays to listen. It pays to listen. So, Aaron, as we are wrapping up the show, what is one piece of parting advice that you would give to the leaders of tomorrow?
Yeah. Sorry, you got me stumped for a second. What is one piece? I would say it just comes down to me to, okay, here's what it is. Every morning when I get up, I have what's called a truth about you list. And on this list, there's a chapter of the book called The Truth About You. And this is one of the really helpful ways that I found to turn down my own limiting voices, because still even today, a lot of days I wake up in the morning and I have a flood of fearful thoughts coming into my mind. I want to be honest about that. That's what happens. So I have this list that's called The Truth About You. And it's just a list of things that people I respect have said about me that I didn't just let encourage me in the moment, but I actually captured it. I put it into my phone and I put it as a quote and their name. So I go over this list of encouraging things people have said about me that are as true or more true than the thoughts that I have in my head of, you're stupid, you can't do it, you're not going to, you don't have what it takes. Those kind of thoughts that they begin to redesign those thoughts early in the morning. So it changes my way of being. This is one way to change our way of being in the morning to be more effective throughout the rest of the day.
There you have it. There you have it. So, leaders, head on over to leadersinspireleaders.com for the show notes and Aaron's contact information. Remember, the highest form of leadership is inspiring other leaders. So, be inspiring and stay inspired. Aaron, thank you so much for joining me and inspiring the leaders of tomorrow.
It's my pleasure. Thanks so much. It's an honor to be on the show.